catching up on this movie, single white female babies.
Right.
I mean, because this is what this is, right? I didn't see it. Did everybody see it?
Okay, yeah, y'all saw it.
Well, you know, everyone's saying it's like single white female. And to be fair, I saw single white female. At least I think I did. I don't remember a second of it. But I looked at
Like
the
this
synopsis online. I'm like, oh yeah, this is single white female.
It's note for. It's almost note for note. It's like single white female for dumbasses. That's all. And really all it is.
Single white female like spawned a cottage industry of thrillers like that. Because I've seen so many movies like this, and this is just one more. It's almost like it's not even a story. It's a phenomenon that must repeat itself every few years.
But that's pretty normal in horror to a certain extent, and they get generally either they get more and more meta, or you know, with little variations, or they get more and more watered down, or usually both at the same time. This is like so watered down that it's literally bloodless. There's nothing to recommend inside of the movie. There's no strength to it. It is just the clone of a clone of a clone of a clone of a clone, to where there's just none of the original DNA left at all, or character at all. It's just bleh.
It's as if the fucking CW produced it. I mean,
Yeah.
directed it.
The CW shows are better than this.
Well, and I say that too.
Channel where they couldn't show much.
And I say that too because it seemed like every fucking soundtrack or band that the CW has pushed is on this fucking soundtrack.
Hell, it's
Because
even got
it
the
is
girl from the
littered.
Vampire Diaries in an appearance in it.
What's the girl? Which girl?
She plays the old friend who, like the previous girl who was stalked.
Oh, she's the Vampire
Yeah, she's the main girl from the Vampire
Well, there's
Diaries.
a girl-
from the Disney Channel.
Oh, fair
She was
enough.
on- She was on Phil the Future forever.
There's another actress in here who's one of the quote unquote victims who is actually on a CW TV show right now.
Yeah. Well, I would be surprised to find out that every
the
single
crazy
member of
girl
the
on
cast isn't from one. So there's a lot of people who you're like, I've seen them in a television commercial for a show I don't like, but you know.
Yeah.
What is this? Okay, so for people who haven't seen single white female, what is this about?
So you got basically Minka Kelly is a new girl from Iowa who's starting to go to this college and take her design classes. And
I'm so excited. I just turned 30 and I'm going to college.
Ally Michalka is her partying friend, as Ally Michalka always plays, because she was the same partying friend in Easy A. But then they go out partying and they come back, and then suddenly Minka Kelly, she's got a new roommate, Leighton Meester. There's some girl named Rebecca who's like, oh, your new dorm mate, and this friend that she has, this new roommate, is she's very chummy, like chummy in a way to where she's borrowing her stuff, but when the girl tells her like, hey, don't do that, she goes, oh, okay. But she's doing little sneaky things here and there. She's eyeing her new boyfriend suspiciously. She doesn't like that she has other friends at all. She takes her home to meet her parents, but even you can see her parents are kind of freaked out by her. It's all like it's like little subtle things, and I appreciate subtlety.
What's the thing? It's like this has happened to all of us with real people. Where
Exactly.
we miss all the subtle cues, and it's not till the shit goes down that you look back and go, man, I can't believe I didn't
And you
pay
have
attention
all your
to
other friends come out like, yeah, I wanted to say something, but
Well,
Yeah.
you know what?
I thought that was your friend.
I'm completely shocked that you're saying that right now because maybe that's why this kind of shit never happens to me, because I see these signs easily because people are fucking crazy. Period. Whenever somebody's hanging out with me, I'm expecting them to be fucking nuts. And the thing is, the problem with this movie is that, okay, it's a very simple plot, Corey.
Yeah.
You have a normal person who just wants to have an average day at school, and she gets roommated, she gets bunked with a fucking crazy person.
Where were you? Hi. I kept on calling and calling. Rebecca, this is Steven. I'm going to bed now. I'm glad you're okay.
Yeah, of course. You're right.
And that's all this movie is. And every time this normal girl has a problem, that problem somewhat gets resolved in a weird, fucked up way, and you're like, okay, who was the last person I talked to about the problem? Oh, you crazy woman. And something crazy happened to this person who I didn't really like all that much, but it really didn't bother me all too much that something bad had to happen. But this keeps happening. It's like one thing. I have this annoying boyfriend. Something happens. I have this cat problem. Something happens. And it's
like the boyfriend disappears, the cat disappears.
You're fucking going. You're in college. Your brain has to kind of have to work in some way. How are you not figuring all this shit out?
What's weird is that we both hate this movie, I think, equally, but I totally disagree with you. I think that it did.
That's why
That's
why you're always the victim.
No.
That's why you always are the victim.
That's why you can't just go stabbing people the moment they come up and talk to you, co-host. That doesn't.
What the fuck? What's the game?
Yeah, wait. He's the crazy person. That's what it is. That's why it takes one to know.
I was about to say, you two can't separate from each other. That's why Combs is always behind you.
I can't believe I didn't see this until now.
There is that thing when you're watching it. It's like we live in a time now where people, are more like, stalker sensitive or quick to say somebody's creepy.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think they might be obsessed. So
Facebook.
It would be harder to get away with some of it.
Yeah.
Because people, these days are more paranoid about this kind of stuff. But realistically, the girl was good about keeping it low key enough to where you could see how somebody could miss it. Especially they're in college, you got a lot of stuff going on. You aren't looking for somebody to do that. And this person, at times is genuinely being a good friend to you. Like with times when you need something, they're there to help you.
Yeah.
And when you have problems and they go away, be in the audience where we can see it all, it's easy for us to go like, oh, you don't see that. But when you're in the situation, you might go like, wow, I'm glad that worked out for me.
But that being that way is also one of the downfalls of this
Yes,
film
it's
because
so subtle
it's boring as fuck. Nothing is happening in this movie for 3/4 of it. Just nothing. Even when there's an event, like, the crazy bitch is gonna do something crazy, it's really just kind of lame. It's like, well, really? That was it? That was it? That was the whole craziness that we saw? And then, like I said, it all builds up to a big, dumb, and might I remind you, completely stupid ending because, like, all right, so you've got a moment that depends on them not being able to call for the police because the phone cord has been yanked out of the wall, which they announce. Oh no, the landline phone, it's dead. Even though on the way to this place, we see the girl pull out her cell phone and call her boyfriend.
I was about to say, they're on cell phones constantly through this.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like one of those like, oh, is there a chance she left it behind? They show her on the way talking on her phone.
Well, I was about to say, she has a landline. She deserves to die.
Yeah, right there. It's like,
Who has a landline
these
these
days?
days?
Now, we didn't mention the weird cameo in here by Billy Zane as the fashion
He actually had a role.
Yeah, he did actually have a role.
We haven't seen Billy Zane probably since Titanic.
Yeah.
And he shows up as some...
Well, nothing that wasn't straight to DVD.
Right.
Yeah.
But he's just like a broke down, horny professor who's just wanting to have some sex with some of his young students. And it's what professor doesn't. But it's just sad.
I was in Titanic.
Hey, you remember how handsome I was back in the 90s?
Professor Boutte over here. He's like taking his wedding ring off right in front of girls.
Right in front of girl. Like what the girl's trying to hit on him, and you see him taking his wedding ring off, trying to hide it, but not doing a good job of it. Just quick to like whip that shit off,
Dropping that shit, picking up bombs.
Actually, that is what happened.
I just hated how in a movie like this, like, even the guys are overpowered by this fucking munchkin of a bitch.
Yeah.
And you're just like, you're looking at it going, really? I mean, fucking really?
It's that crazy people strength thing that people believe that though.
Well,
they
the thing
buy
is,
into that.
Look, the thing is, maybe this movie needed more guys to really spell it out to this chick. Like, look, your friend over here is fucking nuts. Because there was a scene where the chick looks at a bottle of medication, and it's completely full, and she's like, maybe she just had this filled. Maybe she's been taking it all along, but she just had this filled. And the boyfriend's looking at her. No, you stupid bitch. She hasn't been using it. She's fucking nuts.
Well, he didn't say that because he hadn't had sex with her yet. So.
But I mean, it's just the logic. The logic of that scene made me go, you know what? At this point, I don't give a fuck about this girl anymore. I'm looking forward to her death or something bad happening to her, just to teach her a lesson about being stupid and not being aware of your surroundings.
Co-host is right. Like the boyfriend is like having to like spell it out. He's like, look, you dumb bitch.
There were 3 other events before that should have like clued her off.
It's hard to tell with the boyfriend what he was doing because he had one facial expression in the whole film. That guy may have been one of the worst actors I've ever seen in one of these.
Whenever that guy,
I know what he is. He was an Easy A. His name is Cam Giganet.
Oh, he is awful.
Whenever that guy
Gigantor, whatever his name.
whenever that guy's in a movie, it's guaranteed to be stupid and terrible.
We're talking about him or Billy Zane?
No, I'm talking about the guy who plays the boyfriend.
That scene in Tangled where the thief Flynn has, all right, I'm gonna give you the smolder, my look, where I put my eyes together, knit my brow to try to look handsome. This guy does that look throughout the entire film.
No matter what is supposed to be happening in the scene.
It's like enough.
Oh, he does. Oh, he has the still blue.
Still blue, exactly.
You're talking about that's Blue Steel.
Blue Steel, whatever.
What, with Jamie Lee Curtis?
No, from Zoolander.
Oh,
I was looking at this and I was hoping it was going to be like some lesbian love thing. And
Well,
having
like,
a-
dude, you watch the whole time thinking, please, come on. Okay, you got all these hot chicks in there. Just give me that. I mean, this Minka Kelly girl, she's like a cross between Jessica Alba and Rose Byrne. It's like, okay, take something off. Dude, keep me invested.
Side boob, at least.
Anything.
And there's nothing. I mean, you make a horror movie without boobs, without blood, without a plot.
How is it a horror?
How is it even a horror film? There's nothing scary in it.
No, I mean, really, you think there's more to it that I'm leaving out, but there's not.
So let me just, if I can put this all together here. Dumb characters, a horror movie with no horror, no blood, and it's just completely dull too. Is there anything good about this?
I can't think of anything.
No, the fucking ending is good. Yeah.
Well, just because it's over.
Yeah, exactly. No,
Yeah.
there's nothing good about this movie. I mean, this movie actually had me frustrated. Because number one, I hate watching these kind of movies because it is the type of movie, especially when, you know, not that I'm being misogynistic towards women, but it's like,
This
you know
time.
what? If you're gonna do something like this, go more in the route of like a Fatal Attraction. You know, that is believable. With this was just completely fucking lazy. And the worst thing is, they wrote these female characters so stupid. I mean, I really felt bad. I'm like, wow, these female actresses agreed to do this fucking movie. And the way they're written is so inept and so ridiculously dumb.
They're just vapid.
It's like, yeah, it really made me think, wow, who would want to be part of this?
Well, the audience that it's intended for, which was the audience I saw it with.
Which is like 12-year-old girls who rent this kind of shit when they're having slumber parties.
I gotta say, the only thing I appreciate about this film at all was that the audience was that one that we always joke about that we rarely get to see, where people are like, oh, no, you didn't. Don't you go touch that thing.
Oh, you mean a black audience?
Yeah, I couldn't tell. It was dark when I walked in. But it
That means it's a black audience.
It sounded
Yes,
that
well, you
way.
couldn't see them.
Yeah, they blended right into the background.
You saw a bunch of eyeballs and smiles.
They actually had the actual cop came into the theater and yelled at the audience, which is the only time that's ever happened. So I was like, thumbs up for that. But
Did you say the cop came in? He was like Hulk Hogan and stuff. You people better shut your mouth. What are you fucking animals?
exactly what
I
happened.
tell you what, brother. Wait, if you don't shut up and watch this movie, I'm gonna come up there and bend you into a pretzel.
Wait, was it you? It sounded that was like word for word.
And I like when you said, like, when he left, one guy's like, asshole. I'm standing right here, brother.
You know what? That was the only good thing about the whole experience. It committed the biggest sin a horror movie can do, and I love horror movies. It was boring as hell. There's not a moment that you wake up even the slightest for. There's
Don't
nothing
insult
exciting or
horror.
interesting. I'm not.
Don't insult horror
by calling this a horror
this
film.
horror
Well,
film.
it calls itself a horror film, and it shouldn't because it's not. It's not a thriller. It's not a horror film. It's a fuck you.
Wow, so that's your rating? Fuck you?
I hate this movie with every bit of me. Not the least of which because they kill a cat in it. Okay, right there. You just dropped a whole rating level for that.
Now, here's my thing about the killing of the cat. I was like, okay, that's a cool way to kill a cat, but they don't actually show it. So points away from that.
I was gonna say you're the opposite. You probably gave it points for killing
I was
cat.
gonna give it points for killing the cat, especially the way she was gonna do it. But then they don't show it, and they don't really do anything with it. And I was like, man, you gonna come up with something like that and not use it? Kiss my ass.
at least something after, like the cat like rolling around, like fucking going, yeah, give me a fucking
Yeah, the cat looking at the screen.
I know. And the funny thing is,
what are you doing?
the funny thing is, I thought about Cyrus as soon as I saw that cat
know.
going in that dryer, and I just looked at the screen and I went.
That was the only thing. That was the only time I talked out loud myself. Everyone else was up there. That's the only time in the movie I was like, "Oh, fuck you."
You know what? It's hard to like say anything good about the movie. I mean, you know, I was like, wow, these girls are cute, but that only goes for so far. It's not at all a horror movie. At best, it's a thriller with not much in the way of thrills. I give it some point on not being so in your face, but then they completely ruin it by doing nothing with it. And yeah, co-host is right about the whole stupid bitch quotient. I mean, every horror movie does that, which kind of bothers me. Is like, Stephen King even pointed out in Alien how you have Ripley being such a smart character, but then she goes back for the cat, and at that moment you go like, You dumb bitch. But this
Yeah,
movie,
you did. I was like, you damn well better go back for the cat.
fuck a damn cat. You know how to drive a spaceship? All right, you got.
There'll always be other cats, is what you're saying.
Exactly.
in space, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of cats out there. But this is that dumb bitch moment from the moment the movie starts all the way to the end, and that they could be terrorized. So many people could be terrorized by this one little girl. It strains plausibility because you're like, look, somebody would have just whipped her ass. Yeah, you know, she would have blackmailed the wrong person. And rather than cower and say like, oh, let me pay you, don't tell, and it just like jacked her shit up.
Yeah, every time I've been in a town where someone was that crazy, people don't go and hide from them. They yell at them, hey, fucking crazy bitch, what are you doing out here?
That shit always ends up like an episode of Jerry Springer, period.
Yeah.
I mean, that is the reality we are living in, and that film should fucking take that and put it in the film just to sprinkle some kind of reality to where I'm like, okay, this is something I...
To be fair, there were no black women at the school, so.
No, that's
Who would have called her on?
So you already said what you thought, but what's your grade? What's your rating?
No, I'm giving it a mighty old fuck you.
High five.
Yes, because the biggest tragedy about this fucking piece of shit is that it is fucking dull and it is completely lazy.
Okay.
Lazy.
All right, we got you.
The fucking reason they made this was to sell that fucking soundtrack, which is still playing in my head. I mean, let me just real quick. They littered this movie. You talk about a movie completely littered with useless soundtracks, and this is one of them.
And it's funny because like the boyfriend's like, yeah, I'm in a band that sucks. Like he's saying it like, oh, I'm saying it because it's not true. It's like, no,
Yeah, you really are in a band that sucks.
And
They play the band, and they play like every other fucking terrible, shitty band you hear on the
every
radio.
CW band. The thing is, I don't disagree with anything y'all are saying. I just don't hate the movie as much as y'all.
Wir haben ein neues Wert geboren.